Easy now. Today we're doing a repair on an Arcam Delta 290p amplifier. Problem with this one, let me just turn it around, is the RCA in has come off. So I'm going to show you how to repair this. Firstly, what we need to do is remove the screws from here and here around the side. 4 at the back, sorry, and 2 on each side. And that will remove the outer case. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so I've removed the screws from the side and the 4 from the back. If you needed to watch me undoing screws, then this really shouldn't be the video for you. Anyway, right, take the lid off. That'll come off nice and easily. Right, let's see what we're working with. So, the board is obviously screwed in several places. Now, I do know some people who might be tempted to do the repair from the top of the board and unsolder the RCAs and replace it like that. That's really not advisable. What we need to do is unscrew this board and remove it, but it's being held down by this aluminium heatsink, which is screwed on twice at the back, and I believe it's screwed on twice at the front. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the 2 black screws to remove the phase plate at either side. And that should give me access to the 2 screws bolting on the heatsink, and then I can start removing the screws off the board, and then we'll go from there, and it should start to lift out. So I've undone the 4 screws on the front panel. Should just, yeah, that's right, wiggles off. It should give me access. There we go. 2 screws here and 2 screws there on the heatsink. Let's undo them. Okay, so remove the 4 bolts from the heatsink. This will lift the transformer up, and you will be able to just move it to one side for now, put it on top of that heatsink there. Gives you better access. Now, so I don't cause any damage, I'm going to just slide off the buttons so they don't break. So the 2 with the pins are for the 2 speaker channels, and the normal flat one is for the power. Okay, and as for part of the course as well, I will undo the screw in the centre there of the RCAs, and also there's 2 screws in the centre of the speakers. So that's the next job to do, and then the ones around the board. So with the modular design of this particular amp, if we take the rest of the screws out around the back, we can remove the rear panel. See, this is why I don't undo the screws on camera. So the 2 bottom screws out, the back panel just slides off. Still, you haven't got sufficient access to do what you need to. Okay, so I'm about to undo the 4 screws to completely remove the board, and I've just noticed that the front panel is actually riveted to the board, so you're going to have to undo the 4 screws that hold the face panel on, but it's still going to be attached because it's riveted and soldered on in places along the front. So just undo the 4 screws at the side, and then the 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the inside. Okay, you catch me undoing the last one. All the others are out, and the front ones are out. And that one's out. Now, by my calculations, yes, the whole thing is loose. So I can't do this one-handed. Well, I sort of can. So I'm just supporting everything, lift it up, and out she comes. I'm going to get this stable and come back to filming in a minute. So here we are, all stripped out. As I said before, the front panel stays attached because it's welded. soldered and riveted on in various places along the way. Offending article, the RCA's here. There you go, quite obvious. Just those 6 big lumps of solder there. And here is the new replacement 24 karat gold. Same pin layout. So again, you shouldn't need me to show you how to do soldering and desoldering. If you need that help, either hit me up and I'll do another video, or look elsewhere. I'm just going to unsolder them quickly. I will show you step by step as I go along for those of you that are interested. So there we have the old one unsoldered, and the new one ready to go in. So I'll solder that back in, and then it's back to reassembly. Alright, so here we can see the new ports all been soldered in. A little bit of flux on there, but with most of my projects I will, as with all of them really, I'll give this a clean and a dust and polish up before I give it back. So there we go, that's pretty much job done. It's now reassembling. One thing I will say is I noticed when I first took it apart that one of the earths seemed a little on edge. It was a little brittle. Anyone that's worked with electronics will know what I mean. When the solders come up and it's got to the stage where you know it's going to snap off, and it pretty much come off in my hand. So that solder's back on. If the same thing happens to you, let me just flip this over a little bit so you can see, stand it up. Right, this green and blue wire, green and yellow, sorry, goes up here next to the power supply, ground, yellow, just there. And you can see where it's come through from the other side and snapped off. So I'll solder that back on and we'll start reassembling. So time for reassembly. Just check, make sure everything's in how it should be, everything's not damaged, all that lot. I've cleaned the board with alcohol wipes, and I've used an air duster as well to get in and clean everything out. Little point to note out is there's a spare fuse down here for the main power supply. So if your main power supply, which is switchable between 220 and 115 goes, you've got a spare one there, which is quite interesting, quite handy. Right, so first things first, we lower the main body of the unit into the base. Okay, so here we are, it's resituated as it should be on the base. I'm just going to quickly put the 4 screws back in. It's harder than it looks if you try to look through the camera. Try and look through the camera. There we go. Right, 1. Two. You know what? You don't want to watch me screwing these in. So number 3 goes in just there, and number 4 goes in just there, and then I'll come back. Right, once all those are in, we do the silver ones at the side, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. We put them in. Next comes the back panel. It's held on with 3 screws at the bottom. Also there's 3 screws in the centre of the speaker outputs and the inputs at RCA's. So that will just go round like that. Oh look, I did do a good job, they line up beautifully. I'll screw that on. Give me a second, I'll clean it up first. So after screwing the heatsink in, the aluminium heatsink, it's time to put the front panel on. But first, we'll do the buttons. So the ones with the tabs go in here, and the tabs go at the bottom. Just like so. the normal one.